Free Bird. Boy, that thing got a lot of airplay back in the day. How about that one, Weird?
Every day for 5 years. I think I heard that song.
So you actually got sick of the song, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you got your start here at WUSC-AM when it was a carrier current station back then?
Well, but that was not where I got my start.
Oh, really? Where'd you start?
WNOK.
Oh, you worked for Moody? Moody McElveen?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I worked a weekend shift from like 1 until 5 on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, so you're actually playing record because later on you did all those tapes.
Turntables.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards.
So you...
now there's like, wow, you've got record players.
This may be the only studio, maybe over at Educational Radio, but this may be the only studio in town that's got turntables in it anymore.
Wow.
And they're actually usable. Not easy to use, but they are usable.
Well, they were pretty easy for us to use. We just queued the record up and we'd hit start and it'd go.
So you remember the old phrase, walking up a record and hitting the post, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah. I mean, you'd spin it until you heard sound, and then you'd spin it back about, I guess it was about an eighth of a turn.
Yeah.
And when you hit the button, you had music.
That's right.
I mean, immediately.
So one of the side effects of backing it up was a little scratch, and they call that scratch cue burn. Remember that? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have many records at home that have cue burns on them.
I'm sure.
From actually doing that on my home stereo system. How did this thing get like they don't do this in the radio station?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny, but you really can't slip cue these records here on these turntables because modern turntable needles will break if you try to go backwards.
Wow.
Yeah, at least these will.
Well,
times have changed.
We just, ran it up maybe a little bit past where the music started and ran it back about a fourth of a turn, and there it was. When you hit the button, I mean, there was music.
Magic.
Yeah, it was magic.
Yeah.
There was all kind of things that were magic back then.
So what years were you here at WSC?
70 to 75.
Uh-huh. And then you went on.
That's 19, by the way. Not 18.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like it's 18 for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I was here from 63 through 66.
Wow.
And then I came back in 2007 as a alumni DJ and did a show. Well, actually, I did one in the late 90s when that was the main studio over there.
Oh.
And had a different board. And then we had in 2007, I came back and did some work here as an alumni doing the breaks and everything. So,
well, I did my last show in 1975, and I haven't been back.
Oh.
So, hi.
He's back. When we first put on Facebook that you were going to be on the show, which was initially going to be 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now, one of your listeners wrote me and said, Jerry Smith is his name.
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah. He said, one of the classics that you used to like a lot was one by Jim Stafford, Wildwood Weed. Yeah, tell me about that song.
Tell you about that song? Well, you know what Wildwood Weed was about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's basically all it was 2.5 minutes of
Jim Stafford
marijuana, basically. Yeah.
Back in those days.
Yeah.
One of the songs out of the drug culture, one of the early songs out of the drug culture, because there was a lot that came along later on.
Yeah, a lot.
At this point in the show, we had just played a song by Billy Stewart. It's called Count Me Out by Billy Stewart. And Weird, you may remember that he was killed on a traffic accident crossing the Neuse River on I-95 on his way down to here from Washington, D.C. He was going to play at Jack Skeen's The Box. On Rosewood Avenue.
Yeah, The Box. Yeah. I remember that old place. Yeah, that was it Jackson Boulevard?
Rosewood Drive.
Huh?
It was on Rosewood Drive.
Oh, Rosewood, yeah.
I
knew it was one of the roads that went into
that's right, intersection there.
They actually intersect inside Fort Jackson.
Yeah. So, who was celebrating a birthday today?
Oh, the birthday calendar. Well, birthdays, Barry Mann.
Yeah.
Barry Mann. Yeah.
He wrote a whole bunch of songs with Cynthia Weil. Yeah. And he did a couple with a group called the Raindrops. That was Barry and Cynthia. Yeah.
This is the Backbeat Show on WUSC-FM. Solid Gold! Here's my favorite DJ, Rick Wrigley. The Backbeat Show rocks the oldies with Rick Wrigley.
There you go. When was the last time you heard a jingle?
On WUSC, never.
Never. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, actually.
We made our own, actually.
Yeah, well, I found a place in the UK and another place down in New Zealand that makes jingles at a reasonable price. So that's where those things came from.
Oh, is that where they came from?
Yeah. So
actually, they came from a production studio right across the hall from the main studio.
Yeah, and you take records and kind of get bits and pieces out of them.
Yeah.
Montages, they call those things.
Yeah, you take 7 seconds of a song and cut it down to 3, and then you had the chorus of the song, and everybody knew what the song was, but that's all you used of it.
Yeah.
So where's the rest of the song? It's in the...
These days they call that sampling.
Yeah. I don't think they called it that when I was...
No, they call it stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you and I have worked together with a couple of WSC alumni. I'm thinking of Hugh Munn and Tom Berry.
Hugh Munn.
Yeah.
That's the guy that more or less introduced me to radio.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he had Barf the Wonder Dog. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember Barf.
Yeah, of course, we lost Hugh quite a few years ago now. And of course, Tom Berry, he did mostly news here at WUSC. He also did news at WIS Radio when I was there. And we had another fellow there by the name of Jim Ramsey. You probably don't know Jim because he left the Columbia market and went to work in television in North Carolina and wound up at WGN in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good career.
A pretty good career. You know, and as a matter of fact, he's on YouTube. Do a look for WGN, Jim Ramsey's 60th birthday, if you want to see something with chroma keys that's kind of funny. And, of course...
Jim Ramsey, 60 years old. Wow.
Well, yeah.
I passed that a few years ago.
Me too. 20 years ago.
You further than me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I was just 14 years ago.
Yeah, let's see. So I'm just trying to think of when... So you started in the 70s, so that meant you were...
I actually started in 67.
Oh, at WNOK.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here in 70.
They had a show on Saturday night from 7 to 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That was a different disc jockey every week for about 5 weeks, and then we'd start the chain over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of the people, and this girl named Spider Webb, just a bunch of freaks, I guess. I don't know.
Were you all high school people at the time? You were in high school, right?
Pretty close. Yeah, I think I was in the 10th grade.
Which school did you go to? We got
AC Flora.
AC Flora Falcons.
Abram Clyde Flora.
I didn't know Clyde was the C.
Yeah, he was. That was his name, Abram Clyde Flora.
Well,
I
wonder if he had a camel. Now, if you understand that reference, you're old.
Thanks.
So one person that I worked for, you didn't ever work for, was Woody Wyndham.
Yeah, that's true.
And we were talking just now about Woody Wyndham's one A-side, B-side record that he released here in Columbia. The A-side was called I Can't Hide It. And the B-side was called You Can't Keep a Good Man Down.
Yep.
But you didn't.
I actually had a copy of that for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is now, but...
Yeah. Believe it or not, I found it on Amazon, too.
Ooh, Amazon.
On Amazon. Woody's on Amazon, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I was talking with his daughter, Wendy, and she mentioned something to me I didn't know, that in the studio band that recorded on both those songs was a fellow by the name of Rick Derringer.
Yeah.
And this was a couple of years after the McCoys, but he had broken away from the McCoys and was just starting his solo career.
Hadn't made it as a solo artist yet.
That's correct. There we go with Can't Keep a Good Man Down with Woody with the Goodies right here on WUSC-FM. So you used to
Goodies.
Yeah, you used to have that record, huh?
Yeah, I did. I'm afraid to admit it, but yeah, I actually got that record somehow. I think I went into a Mary's record shop in whatever that shopping center was.
Oh, I know you. The one on Divine Street.
No, it was in
Five
the shopping center at
Woodhill Mall.
Yeah.
No. Trinum Plaza.
Trinum Plaza.
I used to have to take the actual physical top 40s around to all the record shops when I was in
Poor thing.
I know. That was one of my duties. Doing the Night Beat Show from Doug Brooms.
The Night Beat Show. Doug Broom.
Yeah. But my location wasn't the
Doug Broom was a newsman, wasn't he?
He was a restaurateur.
Yeah.
He ran Doug Broom's Drive-In. His brother Gene Broom ran Gene's Pig and Chick.
Yeah.
WNOK was at Gene's Pig and Chick and WCOS at Doug Broom's. First at Main and Confederate, and then the second location on 2 notches next to Beltline, where the McDonald's is now.
That's where I was familiar with WCOS.
Yeah.
And
so,
WNOK was, I think it was gone by the time I knew anything about it.
Yeah.
I think that was the 60s.
It was. As a matter of fact,
I had no transportation in the 60s. I was still a high school kid.
Yeah, so you couldn't go cruising then.
Well, I could go cruising until 6 o'clock.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's right. The driver's license allowed you to go till 6.
I could drive from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. with nobody in the car, but after 6 p.m. I had to convince an adult, will you go with me to see Woody with the Goodies at Doug Broom's? No.
Yeah, the parents hated rock and roll back in those days.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so
mine especially.
So that's why you turned out the way you did, huh?
That's exactly why I turned out the way I did.
Oh my goodness! Did you ever have to work the midnight to 6 a.m. shift when daylight saving times did the fall back? Yeah, the fall back.
Yeah, 7-hour shift. Yeah, I loved it.
And then you do the 2 to 3 o'clock hour twice.
Yeah.
Did you ever get paid for that second hour?
No.
Me either. Your log says you came on at midnight and get off at 6, so you get 6 hours. That's it.
It says it right here on this paper. You signed it. Why did I ever sign it?
I know. But my argument back was, but if you look at that log, there's actually 7 hours on it.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 to 3 repeats.
Yeah, well, knowing them, they probably just repeated the hour. Oh, well, we're going to this again.
Yeah, speaking of daylight saving time, we went back to year-round daylight saving time during the energy crisis in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's a move to go to year-round daylight time now. There's a lot of people trying to make that happen. I think it's a bad idea for one thing.
Yeah, for one thing, you get up in the winter.
Yep.
You get up and it's still dark.
Well, if you remember, during the wintertime, the AM power change occurred at 7:30.
Yeah.
That means it wouldn't change till 8:30. You're already gone through the morning shift before you get to go to full-time power.
You have 30 more minutes of morning show, and then, hey!
That's right. So those were crazy days. And we're talking about all the connections between songs and everything. We're talking about the fact that Rick Derringer, who had, of course, the Rick Derringer group. He had the McCoys before them. He played Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, and he also played on Woody Wyndham's songs, I Can't Hide It and You Can't Keep a Good Man Down, that came out in 1968. So,
that blew my mind.
Yeah, it's funny. The connections with radio and rock and roll and musicians and all that stuff, it's like a big old spider web.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. The 7 degrees of separation of Woody Wyndham, like Kevin Bacon in Hollywood. That's sort of mind blowing.
And he's not known very, very well in any other town but Columbia and whatever that town was that he lived
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, that's right.
He was over there for like
6 weeks.
Well, it was a little bit longer than that, maybe 2 months or so.
Yeah.
Because I was at COS when he left and when he came back. And I remember his very first show when he came back was a remote in 5 Points in front of a music store down there, and I went down and welcomed him back to Columbia. So
probably the music store that was across from the Carolina Theater, but I can't remember the name of it.
There was one that was down. Maybe it was an electronics store. It was down the street because you could see the Carolina Theater logo in the background.
Yeah.
The 5 Points Theater back in those days. So, yeah.
But, yes, the 5 Points Theater. Spent many an hour in that place, even watching movies.
Oh, yeah.
Way back when. And then
were you in the back row?
No more.
Were you in the back row with your girl?
A couple of times.
Yeah. Sitting in the back row. Oh, man. Some drifters. Anyhow.
I didn't have very much luck with girls in the 60s. The 70s was a little better for me.
Well, beards became acceptable in the 70s.
Yes.
So we were talking about Rick Derringer, and another little surprise here. Of course, he had his first real rock and roll group was called the McCoys.
Yeah.
And they had "Hang On Sloopy" came out, and that song is now the fight song for the Ohio State University football team. They play it at every football game up there.
Hang on, Sloopy.
The band plays it, you know.
Sloopy, hang on.
Oh yeah. But
I like, yeah. Like 15 different mics and people singing in there.
On this day in history.
Well, in 1945, World War II, the Battle of the Atlantic, HMS Venturer sinks U-864 off the coast of Fiji, Norway, in a rare instance of submarine-to-submarine combat. Bizarre. Also, same day, World War II, a force of Allied aircraft unsuccessfully attacked a German destroyer in, oh boy.
one of those foreign names.
It's from Norway. I have no idea what, I mean, I don't speak Norwegian.
Yeah, there you go. We'll go with that.
And then the second Red Scare, U.S. Senator Joseph McCarthy accuses the United States Department of State of being filled with communists. Ooh. And it's Carole King's birthday.
Oh, yeah. You jumped the gun on me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's perfectly all right.
Well, good.
We'll announce her birthday again later on. So, you know,
in case you missed it, we're going to tell you again.
That's right. We're going to tell you again. Isn't that the way radio was?
That's the way it is.
Woody had a thing he did with us called Time Temp Boom Boom. And with all the DJs, he was all about getting, well, for one thing, we had to say something between every record.
Yeah, and you had just about always had to announce the time
and the temp.
And for some reason with him, the temperature.
Yep.
Even though you've announced that it was 80 degrees for the last 5 hours,
it still hasn't changed.
It's still 80 degrees.
Well, you know who developed the whole idea of Time Temp Boom Boom? Rick Sklar at WABC in New York. And the way it worked was he was a program director there. Cousin Brucey, Chuck Leonard, and all those guys were DJs for him. And they had all their songs were carded. And there were two versions of each song. One of them had a cold ending, and the other one had a chime on the end. And the chime on the end said that's when you did the time. And if it didn't, you would have to come out and say, WABC temperature is 77, whatever it was.
WABC.
Pam's jingles, man.
Yep.
Oh, my. So that's where Woody got it. And, of course, I've got a jingle here that actually says Time Temp Boom Boom, and I'm going to have to play it for you. Because it says my boss's favorite rule. So did you ever in your career do remote radio broadcasts? Yeah. So you remember where from and what you?
We did several. They were all over town.
Yeah.
And at several different radio stations. The most of them that I did were at a station in Florence. Mm-hmm. And we broadcasted a lot from the Florence Mall, mm-hmm. which had, I think, every store in the U.S. was in the Florence Mall for some reason. They had just store after store after store, and nobody ever went in them, but they were there. Uh-huh. I mean, I guess people actually went in them, but I never did. But
somebody had to be making money somewhere.
I like, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the craziest remote you ever did? While you think about it, I'll tell you about one that I did. Everybody knows Jimmy Collins or who he was. He was a salesman at WCOS when I was there, and that man could sell anybody anything. And I remember I had just taken over the all-night satellite show from April Black. Then it went from 1 a.m. till 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And I walked into the station one afternoon and Jimmy said, you're going to have a live remote tonight. And I said, really?
From 1 until 6?
1 to 6. Really? Where am I going to be? He said, you're going to be down at Marion Burnside, the corner of Hardin and Gervais Street. And
Marion Burnside, the car dealer?
Yes. And, wow. I went down there, and there was, when I got there, Marion Burnside was there, and there was one salesman, who drew the short end of the stick, and he got to be on duty with me to sell all the cars they were going to sell. Yeah. So,
how'd that work out?
Well, I tell you, there were two people in the building the entire night, me and the sales guy. And the sales guy went over and went to sleep.
So you were there by yourself?
Yeah. Well, I did have the board operator. It might have been Charlie J. or Rod Ryder back in those days was running board for me back at the station. He was playing the music, and I was just doing announcements. And I remember thinking, "Oh man, Marion is going to be very unhappy about this." So the next day I go up to the station, and the station manager called me into his office and said, Marion Burnside wants to talk to you on the phone. So he said, and he said, thank you, great job, great remote, I loved it. And I said, but nobody came. And he said, yeah, but I sold 25 cars off that remote the next day.
Not bad.
Yeah, so I was thinking all the time that, it was a total bust, but it turned out
a failure.
Yeah. Well,
suddenly, I sold everything.
That's right. Well, the one thing that was working for us then is WCOS was the only station on the air during those hours.
Yeah.
So it was listen to me or nobody.
Yeah, everybody else signed off.
Yeah, but you've done all nights, and you're very familiar with all nights.
Oh yeah, don't remind me.
Well, I was about to say I love the all night crowd, the audience.
Yeah, the audience was great. It was just,
trying to stay awake.
Well, you're the only one that's got the 6-hour shift.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else works 4 hours. You work 6. And the night guy works 5.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing. Have you any idea how many DJs are here on the air at WSC right now?
Oh, 82. Higher?
Higher.
115.
Well, we have a whole bunch of new DJs coming on, and our other guest in the studio is one of those new DJs coming on. It's close to 100 right now.
Wow.
And the thing about it is that's why most of the air shifts here at WSC are 1 hour long these days, and a lot of those have 2 or 3 DJs on at the same time.
Wow.
So I'm very fortunate, and they allow me to continue to do my 2-hour slot and bring in old guys like
here,
you.
we didn't have anything like that. It was like, oh, well, you get the midnight to 6 shift, thanks.
Well, back then they also didn't have automation.
Yeah.
So you had to have
did have automation,
and that brings around meter readings, transmitter meter readings.
Yeah, transmitter meter readings.
When you and I first started in commercial radio, it was once every half hour.
Once every half hour? I was once every hour.
Oh, okay. So it was once every half hour for me, and then later on, it became once an hour sometime when I was on the air at chief engineer and on the air at WIS radio.
Well, I started in 64, and it was once an hour at NOK. I don't know about any other station because that's the only station I worked for in Columbia.
And you did it through a remote control device.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did yours have a little dial on it, telephone dial on it? Schaefer.
You like if you wanted to check a certain reading, you'd dial 3 and dial 4 and dial 5.
Dial 3 was important because that was the plate current on WCOS.
Yeah.
And then
I don't remember what they were. I just remember.
Well, that's how. Also, you had. That's how you turned the station on. You dialed up the plate
every
current.
Hour.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Those were the days. And then we have automatic transmitters, and we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I think I probably did my last meter reading or meter whatever probably about 1982 or 83.
Oh wow. Did you ever have the FCC walking in while you're on the air?
No.
I did.
I've never seen the FCC eye to eye in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I mean, it was probably more likely to happen during my shift than any other because I was overnights for 5 or 6 years, and then I became the night guy. Which was 7 to midnight for about another 5 or 6 years. And then suddenly I got promoted to afternoons.
Whoa.
And that meant I had to wake up at like 10 o'clock in the morning and go to work and cut commercials and stuff. It was fun.
And you had to deal with people.
Yeah. It was like people would walk into your studio. What are you doing in here?
So did you ever have somebody walk into your studio unexpectedly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. Was it ever somebody who was a singer or something like that? Have you ever had a singer?
Not really. I mean, I imagine they probably sang, but not singing that you wanted to hear.
In 1966, the first year I was doing the all-night show, we had a strict rule that you couldn't have anybody in the studio with you, especially at night. And there was a guard downstairs at the Cornell Arms downstairs, and he came up one night, and he had a key to the door. He opened up the door, and he walks in the middle of the show, and he's got a guy wearing a cowboy hat behind him. And he said, this guy, he would like to sit and talk with you for a while. And the guy introduced him. It was Jimmy Rogers, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, and all those great old songs from back there. And I said, yeah, knowing that if I got caught at it, I'd probably get fired. But I said, okay, yeah, it's Jimmy Rogers. Who's going to say no to Jimmy Rogers?
I mean,
right?
Really? I mean, you're talking to Jimmy Rogers on the air, you know?
Actually,
and it's what, 1962?
66. And I never did talk to him on the air, because if I did, they would have known I had somebody in the studio. So Jimmy sat back there. We sat around and talked. He was on tour. And he just got off his show, maybe at the Township or someplace like that, and couldn't go to sleep. So he decided he would come up and visit with a local DJ. We just sat around and yacked about music and life and all that. And,
wow.
Yeah, we just lost him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He was around for a long time. Kisses Sweeter Than Wine. Maybe I should play a Jimmy Rogers song in honor of.
No, you're the one with the turntable.
What turntable? I got a computer. Oh no, he's got a computer.
Oh no!
But I'm not going to play.
Not a computer.
Yeah. Let me punch this button on this computer. See what happens here.
This is the Backbeat Show on WUSC-FM. Backbeat Show.
So you were talking about something else to do with the Beatles, and today they appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show tonight.
Yeah, for the first time.
For the 74 Million Eyes.
1964, they made their first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, performing before a record-setting audience of 73 million viewers across the U.S.
And in 1974, we only had 123 million in the country.
64.
I'm kidding.
64, not 74.
Yeah, that's a long, long time ago.
74 was almost the end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, we were talking about it was. The Vietnam War ended a couple months later.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Beatles and EMI records and all that kind of stuff. And there was a fellow who was the recording engineer for all the Beatles records from 63 through 65. His name was Norman Smith. And
Norman.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, John called him Normal because he's the only one who kept us cool in the middle of a recording session. But
that's where I've heard that Normal Smith. Yeah, okay.
Well, you're probably going to remember another song coming up. I got a little surprise for you here with Norman Smith. But anyhow, during the Second World War, he was a glider pilot, and he actually flew across the English Channel on D-Day and landed a glider behind the lines during the invasion on D-Day. So he was a war hero. Then he went to work as a recording engineer and eventually became a producer. He produced the Uma Guma album for Pink Floyd.
Yeah. I've got that.
Yeah.
I've listened to it a few million times.
So Weirdbeard,
I'm noticing we're getting a score of 100 today, so that's pretty good.
That's actually 10.
Oh.
There's a decimal in there.
Well, I can't see. I'm too far to see the decimal points.
Do you know what that is? Don't you? If you say something bad, I'll delete it. That's our silence, our delay device.
No, we never had one of those.
I know. Well, when you and I were on the air, you actually listened to the air signal in your headphones.
Yeah.
So. If somebody got you on I'll say an instant 60 request and said something bad, it was there, baby.
You lived with it. All right, guess what came over his show today?
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's happened to almost everybody on the air.
Everybody. I don't know anybody who.
Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me. It's the first time I've been on radio, and I don't know how long.
Longer than you want to think about.
It's
since before the pandemic.
Been like 60 years. You
mean here?
In this station.
In this station, yeah. But since you were last on the air, you were off the air by the time the pandemic came on.
Yeah, I was off the air about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I retired.
Yep.
You can do that after so long.
And then some of us never get the message.
Yeah. Well, I started early. I started when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I was 65, I'd worked 50 years in radio. I'm going to go now. We'll see you later. It was nice, but I'm going to sit and watch television for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
There you go. That's all you need, huh?
Yeah.
So thank you, Weird Beard. And for those of you...
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, his real name is Alan Reames. And were you Alan Reames? Or you developed the name Weird Beard while you...
Allen.
J. Allen.
I was J. Allen when I was at WUSC back in 1970 to 1974.
There we go. And then so you didn't develop Weird Beard until you went into commercial radio.
First of all, I had to grow a beard. And then when I noticed that there was no hair on my chin, I said, well, it's a weird beard. Oh, that's a great name for an area.
And your tagline is "Keep it weird, everyone."
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect.
And weird, and I'll see you later.
Yeah. Thank you for being on the air here. Weird Beard on WSC again.